How's it going, YouTube? And welcome back to Grid. And I'm your host, Cardfight Grid. And sorry I've been uploading so much lately. I've been busy because of the holidays, but at least I have an assigned match for you guys today. I have Genesis versus Kagero, which is Overlord the Rebirth, and it's Regalia. So my opponent starts off writing his grade 1, and then to draw a card, and then I'm going to go ahead and write my grade 1, and then check the top 2, put 1 to soul, 1 in... I believe I leave 1 in top, or put 1 in hand. Yeah, put 1 in top. Swing, check, and he writes his grade 2, and then the grade 1's effect when wrote upon, check the top 5 for grade 3 and add to hand. Swings to the grade 2, and I'm debating what to do with my life here, and I say no pass and thank the Lord because that was a crit. And I believe I'm thinking about writing the norm here, and I do, and I end up going in with it. He does the same thing back to me. Goes ahead and writes Dauntless, gets Force 1, and this is I always get scared of going against Overlord, just because I just know they just swing on me back to back to back like so many times. So yeah, it can be pretty scary sometimes if your hand's not ready for it. I go ahead and write Angelica, and I have 1 Counterblast. We're both at 1 Counterblast, so right now I think I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to do my board. I end up using Yggdrasil's effect to Counterblast 1 to call out a norm, and then get some divine gauges on them. And yeah, and depending on the grade 1 in the back, and I still have the grade 2 back there too. That gets plus 10k for every divine gauge it has. End up using the grade 1 skill to counter charge and soul charge 2. And I call back the Yggdrasil into the back row. I believe I'm activating the norm skill. And then also soul charge 2. Yeah, Regalia, well, MV Premium, to be precise, is just a really fun, nice deck. Can get kind of pricey though, but it's actually pretty fun. And because of the Yggdrasil's in the back, everybody with a divine gauge has boost. So I'm gonna go ahead and swing, and then give a divine gauge to the grade 1. I believe it gets plus 10k, but then he damage checks a trigger, so it makes it a little bit harder for me. And then I'm going to go ahead and swing with Yggdrasil, and then activate her effect, I believe, which is to give equip gauges. So I'm going to get 1 to the back grade 2 so it can finally boost, and it gets plus 10k. Check, I only checked a crit, and it went through. He got a PG defensive trigger and another crit. So yeah, every increment of those dice counts for 5, I believe. And so now the Age is still swinging for 30, not even 30, like 40, 43 by itself because it restood. He goes ahead and guards with a 5k shield and 10 because it was just 1 to pass, so no pass. And then I swing with the grade 2. He's still able to guard it, of course, because 3 defensive triggers. Yeah, if you get 3 defensive triggers of V Premium, I don't think you're dying to anything, especially if they're like your first 3 damage, or at least second 3. And then he goes ahead and writes a rebirth. He gets the Dauntless skill, where it's going to give the rebirth all of his auto abilities. Calls out the grade 2, 2 grade 2s and grade 3s in the back. Locks everything so he can go ahead and get that additional restand. Swings at my Vanguard for, I believe, 32k. Let's see, no guard, damage check, PG draw trigger, so that was really nice. Goes ahead and restands and swings again. And I believe he's going to swing on me like 3 times. And I damage another draw trigger. Okay, I guess we're just both damaging triggers back to back. And then he's going to restand and swing 1 more time. I believe that was a no pass. And yep, and that's about it. He would be retiring my rear guards if he could choose them for the effects, but I believe Yggdrasil protects them, and Angelica. Goes ahead and unlocks all his units, and it's his turn now. The second thing about at least the Rebirth build is that it is aggro like any other Overlord, but your hand is just, it's pretty bad. It's literally your hands most of the time is very low. You try to kill him right away. I believe he went to Force 1 just because he didn't, I don't know why he went to Force 1. Most of the time Overlord players like to go to Force 2, but yeah. I go ahead and call out 2 grade 2s. I believe I call out the Norm, and I call out the other Regalia grade 2. And I put another Divine Gauge on the Norm, and then I believe I have like 4 to 5 on the grade 2 behind the Norm, which is like a 60k boost. Pretty ridiculous. Go ahead and swing with my Gauge still in grade 2 column, and then he guards it. The grade 2 is gonna go ahead and go into solo, draw a card, and I can put her Divine Gauge onto something else, which I put on the grade 2 booster in the back. Swing with Vanguard, get a PG in the drive check, and yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. He gets a heal though, which is really nice. So he got a defensive heal, and I'm gonna go ahead and restand and swing with Angelica again. And then I'm going to use her effect to give the equip gauge to the grade 2 in the back. And I believe he tried to do 1 to pass, and I passed, but he still ended up getting a heal, and then I swung with the grade 2, and I still won. So that was game 1. And then for game 2, he ends up going first, checks the top 3 for grade 3, he gets the Rebirth off of it. And so let me know what other matches you guys would like to see, and tell me how were your holidays, like since Christmas just passed. I know everybody is probably just excited to just enjoy their gifts and just to spend time with family. So let me know how you guys are doing. I go ahead and swing with grade 2. He guards the trigger for a no to pass. I didn't even check a trigger. And then with the grade 1. And then he rides the grade 2, swings. I say no pass. He just drive checks the grade 3. Ride the Norm, swing in, and it says no pass. I check the Angelica, down checks the trigger, and then he rides Rebirth. And I believe this, well, at least this build of Kagero is pretty cheap. So since he's riding, using the Rebirth swings, he just gets 2 grade 3s on the drive check, ends up restanding, swinging again. And I think right here I damage checked the trigger, and I believe I say -2 crit. So yeah, didn't get touched, which is a nice feeling. Go ahead and ride Angelica, then call out my full board again, which is basically identical to the last board that I had. This is like the go-to play that most Regalia players do. I know some actually run that grade 2 that I believe when he intercepts or you guard with him, he does something to one of your opponent's rear guards. I totally forgot his name, but I know a lot of builds for Fenrir at least is running him, and a few Regalia builds run like 2 of him. And I'm going here and just proccing off my Regalia skills of the grade 1, and then of the Norm. Go ahead and just pin Divine Gauges on everything and soul charging. And I have 2 of those grade 2s that get plus 10k for every Divine Gauge, which is really nice. So I'm just going to feed them Divine Gauge when Angelica swings. Swing with the grade 2 column, which is looking about like 33. It's pretty nice. And now I'm swinging in with Vanguard. It says no guard. Just checked the Norm and the Regalia or Angelica. I go ahead and restand the Angelica, swing again, give 2 Divine Gauges to 1 to Norm, 1 to grade 2 in the back. And now I'm just using dice to just keep up with their power. And I swing again with that, and he just goes ahead and takes it. Now he's at 4 damage. So a lot of his effects are pretty live. Most of the time that's how Overlord works. If they're at 4, they end up getting like a lot of bonus effects, like with Dauntless or with just the cross. Basically, almost like every Overlord in V. And I believe he locks his whole front. Yep, he locks his whole field. Swings in with 33. Checks a draw trigger. Go ahead and counterblast to discard to restand. Swings again for 43. I say no guard, and I'll just take these damages and gain defensive triggers, which is pretty ridiculous. Swings again. I say no guard. He gets a heal out of it, which is pretty nice. That's going to help him out in the next turn. And I get another defensive trigger, even though it doesn't matter. Oh, wow. It's pretty crazy. So right now, I'm pretty sure the Overlord player is just thinking about that grade 2 column right there. That's going to be huge. He got one normal column and, well, normal force column, and then he has a grade 3 that's going to be restanding on him, and then he has a huge grade 2 column that's yeah, looking really fat right now. I believe that column is getting like plus 60 right now, just from their effects. And also from I think Jaeger still gives a +5, or it's Angelica that gives a +5 to everybody with an equip gauge or divine gauge. And I go ahead and get another one of those grade 2s. I'm gonna put it in the front this time, just because I highly doubt it, but I don't want him to swing at my Jaeger because it's either providing power or some sort of protection. Jaeger and Angelica both do. But I end up swinging with Vanguard first, so I can go ahead and use her skill to give divine gauges to my units, or at least 2 of them. Check 2 grade 1s. He ends up taking the damage. I use Norn's ability to restand my Vanguard, which is going to be swinging for like 43 now, I believe. Yes. And then the divine gauge, giving 2 units 1 divine gauge each is not once per turn. So I end up doing it again. He ends up PGing. And I just checked Angelica. Swings with the rear guard column, and all he needs to do is guard one of these columns, and he's basically living. And that tells me he probably doesn't have enough for this column. It's literally PG. Oh, he does. Okay. He had the PG, so he's living for next turn. I have a pretty decent sized hand. I believe I have around like 8 to 9 cards. And I'm at 4 damage. And he ends up just gonna go for the rebirth triple swing again. So 2 normal units, ends up counterblasting 1 to restand. I think I'm at 5 damage now. And I'm hard guarding this. Oh, this is not a good feeling. And man, I think I did like a 2 to pass. And he ended up not passing. Man, he's not jar checking any triggers. And then I PG him on that. And then he finally gets the crit. If he would have got that crit and that heal in the first 2 drive checks, this would have been a lot worse. I think I might have would have died. Yeah, I probably would have died. Luckily, I didn't, and then I had the Angelica in hand. So I'll go ahead and ride. And then start spreading the divine gauges, and I just got 3 huge columns that are going to swing out of space. And one of them's going to swing out of space twice. So that's going to be really nice. I swing at the Vanguard first, and right now I'm just spreading the divine gauge to the grade 2 so they can get even bigger. And I check 2 grade 2s. That's about it. And then right now restand the Angelica, and he ends up hard guarding it, and I did not pass. Now he has he has 2 more columns to I have 2 more columns to swing with that he has to guard, which are freaking huge. And let's see how he does. And he just ends up taking the damage, and that's game. Well, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy. Please like, comment, subscribe, until I see you next time. Peace.